note that
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Journeys to Belonging. Today on my podcast, I have someone that I met online. She's a global teacher coming in today from Tunisia, which is really exciting for me. She's my first guest from Tunisia. And so, Douha Jemai, welcome to my podcast today.
Oh, thank you. Hello, Elaine. How are you? So happy to join you today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. And so, I mentioned that we met on social media and we know each other through the Wakelet community, but I really didn't say too much more about you, but you're such an experienced educator. Please tell us more about what you're doing and what your expertise is.
So I am from the beginning, I'm a computer science teacher in a middle school in Tunisia since 14 years. So I'm a MIEExpert for the last 3 years, MIE trainer, MIE Master Trainer, master teacher in my community, in my country, a TeachSDGs Ambassador for the cohort 3, 4, and 5, the twinning coordinator. I had the International School Award. It was in 2018 for 3 years. That means until 2021 from British Council. It's about I successfully integrate the international learning in the curricula, in my curricula, in my school, and I helped other schools in my country to, of course, to integrate the international learning. So my passion for global education has led me teaching in classroom and collaborating with teachers from all over the world. I had the chance to make connection via a twinning community, Microsoft Educator community, to improve my student core skills. I'm a lifelong learner and believes that while I'm an educator, I will always be striving to improve my own practice. I had, of course, in my school, I set up several clubs as SDGs club, coding, etc. So assisting my student with preparing for life beyond middle school. So I believe that teaching, it's not a duty, it's love, it's giveness.
Right.
And I'm too. Now I have a great experience with the T4, with the great teams, Kristen and Vegas. It was really a great experience, and we started as ambassador, at T4 ambassador, and I'm ambassador too in many international community. I forgot to mention all this, and of course I helped many educators in my country and abroad to learn about remote learning. I was a host in many international event or conference in Brasilia, in Malaysia, from the Ministry of Education in Brasilia, to help educator to know about the blended learning. That's mean how they can use the face-to-face learning, the traditional classroom, with at the same time with online teaching. So it was a great opportunity for me, and I really appreciate the whole people in my life. They learn, they encourage me, especially I forget the name, sorry, but it's about at Tweetmeet, Marjolaine, Michael from, I forget, okay. It's from Scotland, at Teach Europe. You, Ellen, of course, my experience with you in Wakelet, in Wakelet Wave. So in general, so the education Twitter chat, it was a great experience to learn and grow and meet many friends all over the world.
Yes, I love Twitter, and it's really a community of like-minded people, and not so like-minded people, but we do learn from each other. And that's really amazing. You have such a broad and global view of the world, and I'm sure your students benefit from all of that. So I'm really excited to to chat with you today about all of that. The first question I usually ask my guests is, if I say the word belonging or feeling a sense of belonging, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, so I'm really fighting since years. Especially, I'm really doing great work within my community. I'm fighting to really reduce inequality and inequity. So I believe that teaching, as teaching is a work of heart, so it's not a duty. So if you don't love something, you can't give anything to your student. So the sense of belonging, to feel a sense of belonging for me is the extent to which my students feel accepted, supported, respected by their teacher and classmate. The first thing I learned that some of students how not feel comfortable and connected in their classroom, they will struggle to learn. They can't learn. So I have taught also in an inclusion classroom where many students have learning differences that can pose a challenge to connecting with others. I have learned that if a student feel anxious socially, they will not be open to taking academic risk. So building a culture of belonging has become my greatest priority. It's important to clarify that when I say belonging, I'm not talking about fitting in. Student individuality and uniqueness should always be valued. Belonging in the classroom means ensuring that all students feel welcomed, comfortable, and part of the school family.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, every student for me matter. Every student, the leader, the follower, the lagger, the special need, the poor, the rich. So I don't care, regardless of their origin, of their religions. I'm trying to convince every student that he or she was meant to be in my classroom, especially for students that are struggling with finding their place or feel like they don't fit in. Knowing their voice is being heard can help them to see that they are not alone, they are not rejected. So student sense of belonging matter too much for me. It's matter in promoting deeper learning and equity. It's matter every day, every second, in every classroom, in every school, in my country, and all over the world. For me, a key level of increasing belonging is listening to and learning from student voice.
Right, absolutely. Can I ask you if you have an example or some examples of how you do that in your own classrooms, in terms of establishing those relationships and gaining students' trust and giving them voice? Do you have some examples of some strategies you use or apps you use in your classroom for that?
So I want to give a simple example. So I use Web2 tools to improve equity. So this is a simple example. I will tell you after this about a real example about equity, about voluntary work, about how to teach a student a real problem, to solve a real problem in his society, in his community. So for example, if I use Web2 tools for assessment and brainstorming as Mentimeter, as many other tools as Kahoot for assessment, for example. So what's the difference? So before, I ask. So at the end of the session, I ask them if they are, everything is okay, which part they don't understand. So with using Web2 tools, so when I give them just a game with a Kahoot, a whole student participate.
Right.
So before, I need 1 hour to ask every student about his opinion, his thought, what he understand, what he don't like, etc. Okay, so now it's easy. I can saw in my screen, so I can after this download the result in a Excel sheet, and I will discover who's have a weakness in this part, who's is good in this part. So in just 2-3 seconds, I will have the whole feedback. If I use, for example, Mentimeter for brainstorming and I ask my student about democracy, so I will just teaching, for example, I will teach coding next month. So we have, for example, in 9th grade, I teach Microsoft for Microbit, and I teach App Inventor. So please, which tools you should start with, okay? So it's democratic. So they will vote, okay, via Mentimeter, so to choose their choice, and I will respect. If the majority go with App Inventor, I will just start with App Inventor. I respect their opinion. I try to hear every voice. I use also Flipgrid. They can record all the opinion, and at home I will just see their question, everything, okay? I use, of course, I care about the social emotional learning. I just send them Microsoft Forms with a smiley, with how they feel today, every day, especially in the quarantine. I really support them. So they send me their feedback. So, and I remember last year, in 2019, last year, before the COVID, in the winter, I think in December, there's a student who playing a blue whale. The gaming, they are addicted with the gaming, and she hurt her body. She hurt her body, and his mom is not there for her. So she's live, I think, with her grandma and with her dad. He's working all the day. So to feel I can't ignore that she's strong enough to go. And when we learn about safety, about how to protect ourselves, how to not to play that game special, how to say it, okay, it's addiction for the video games. So she was strong enough to tell her friend about her experience, and how I supported her, okay, to stop playing, to stop hurting her body, okay. So and I really support her, and all the teacher know her story, and they supported her. And from the lagger, she was a lagger, she rejected, she feel lonely, her mom is far from her. So and after this, believe me, this year she's excellent.
Wow.
Because we should really care about the whole kind of student, the special needs. We don't, the rich, the poor. So it's not the equity. It's not about giving. So it's not about giving every student what they need exactly. The equity requires putting system in place to ensure that every child has an equal chance for learning. No child should be left behind. That's the point.
You saw her as a person, and you saw that she had a need, and she trusted you, trusted her friend to find a solution. And she knew she was having a problem, and she needed guidance, which unfortunately she wasn't getting from home because of her home situation. Absolutely, those relationships with our students include knowing how they're doing at home, but they're not going to share that information with us if they don't trust us and they don't have that kind of relationship. Douha, I'm interested, and I'm sure my listeners are interested in learning a little bit more about the Tunisian education system. And I'm not sure whether they're aware of the languages that are learned, because you're multilingual yourself as a result of being in Tunisia. So tell us a little bit more about the Tunisian education system, what subjects are taught, the kinds of things that you do since you're doing middle school.
Yeah, so education in Tunisia, it's something you can't imagine, okay? So every single person here respect education. We have a very good quality of education. So all parents sacrifice everything that their kids go to school and have the enough learning. So education is a high priority in Tunisia, and it has been for many years since independence. The academic years run from September through June, and the medium of education is Arabic. Students are tested at the end of each trimester. We have 3 trimesters, but expect it's because of the COVID this year, it's just only 2. So through oral and written tests and practical examination too. So our education system is based open the Napoleonic model developed by the French colonizer, because it was colonized by France during the protectorate. Education is free in all its stage and compulsory for children aged from 6 to 15. Primary education and lower secondary education. So I want to just learn about the language. So language, it was before a few years, it was primary without English, only Arabic and French. And now it's become Arabic, French, and English. It was compulsory on primary, in middle, and in high school. So that's why you find students from Tunisia, they are fluent in their Arabic native language, and both in French and English. So the primary education come after nursery school and cover the first 6 years of schooling from 6 up to 12-year-old in primary schools. Lower secondary education includes the following 3 years of compulsory basic education from 12 up to 50 years old in preparatory, or we can call it middle school. So at the end of this phase, students get the final basic education certificate examination. On l'appelle, ce qu'on appelle en français, we call in French, diplôme de fin d'études d'enseignement de base. That means they can go to normal middle school, or they can go to pioneer school. Pioneer school, that means we have here in Tunisia 24 cities. So we have in majority of the city a pioneer school. Pioneer school, it's for excellent. It's for the best of the best, okay? So it's really fantastic that we have this kind of school here. So if you have up to 50 in your exam, you can go to pioneer school. If you have less, you just go to normal school. The secondary education covers the final 4 years of pre-university schooling in secondary school. All students follow common core curricula in the first year in secondary school. Then each student select one particular pathway: science, art, economic, and management, computer science, or sport. The science pathway is later subdivided into 3 pathways: science, math, or technical study. So we have, I can talk about vocational training and about the Ministry of High Education, but we have many important fields at university, as the engineering, the medicine, the dentist. We have a talented doctor and engineer all over the world, and we have at least maybe, as I don't know the real number, since last year it goes to France. They have exam to be doctor in the hospital of France. Over 500 doctors from our university, from our hospital, they go to France, and they all succeeded the exam. So I have 2 countries. It's really care about our youngest. Okay, so as Germany and France, we find many engineer and doctor there, and it's really. It's really, how to say it, it's the most talented education in North Africa, I think, okay? So I want to talk now about not the positive thing. I want to talk just a little bit about the condition while the COVID, okay? The Tunisian school facing the coronavirus.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Go ahead.
Tunisian school facing the coronavirus crisis, as many other schools around the world, from 13 of March 2020 and won't be fully reopened until 15 September. So leaving hundreds of thousands of students struggling to keep up with their study. So it was really something said that there is no remote learning. Expect that you are just voluntary, you do the voluntary work alone or with some initiative, some groups online. You teach your student with other students from Bangladesh, from India, etc. Okay, you teach them about web tools, so to not feel to improve their social emotional learning.
Sure.
So there is no officially here, not yet, the blended learning, it's not applied yet. So we are come back from 15 September 2020 and we will finish, and we are working normally face-to-face until 30 June. After 30 June, there is a national exam. Okay, so that's the point. It's really something really sad, but at the same time, our Ministry of Education respect that there is many kids deprived of internet connection. They don't have devices, so they respect. So they're trying their best to have to keep the face-to-face learning. Okay, because the remote learning, it's not fear. It's not fear for hundreds of students living in rural area. So that's the point. I respect this, but now I was selected with many other talented teacher, innovative teacher from Tunisia to start, inshallah, soon to apply the blended learning in our system. So, but it's okay. I think the only problem now I see it is that, for example, the student normally he study every day. He go to school every day. So he learn from 8 to 12. He come back home. And he back to school from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. So at least we have 7-hour education learning per day. So now we find that because of the COVID, we divide the class to groups. That's a problem. So groups, for example, learn on Monday, have rest on Tuesday. The second group have to write on Tuesday, and etc. That's a problem. They learn on the half the hours they should learn.
Right.
So that's it.
Yes, it's a big problem everywhere. I'm sure you've read about it in every country and every school district, everywhere. Nobody really knows what to do. And you're right, it's important for everyone, especially government officials who are making decisions, to realize the realize the necessity or the lack of devices, the lack of internet access for students, and that it's great to say, well, we'll all go online, but what if, students don't have that access? So that's really a problem. Yeah. So you are an MIE Master Trainer. I'd love for those who are using Microsoft to know a little bit more about how to become a Master Trainer, or at least how to become masterful in Microsoft. What are the kinds of things that you can do?
Yes, it's a great thing. Honestly, I like so much the Microsoft educator community. So to become a MIE trainer or a master trainer, so each July 1st through June 13, if you train 100 people using tools, for example, Flipgrid, Teams, the 21st skills, century skills. So you become a MIE trainer. If you train 400 yes people,
Wow.
it's you can have the master trainer badge. I want to just open to explain more, open my dashboard. So here, once you have hit that target, you will see a yellow bar in the upper right corner that links you to your badge. We have we can find the PNG certificate, PPT slide that we can download and write our name. So here I can find, for example, on the dashboard, I can send you the site. It's not the site, there is not educator community. So it's about edutrack.microsoft.com. Okay, so you can just press view guide to know how to use, to access. Now there's three links. New training, if you want to train people, okay, about any Web2 tools. We have here on the dashboard, we have event date, organization, training topic, event of country, achieving code. Achieving code, it's a code that you, when you continue at the end of your training, you can you should send it to the attendees that can add, and after this it will be a code redeemed. That means it will be added to your account, to your training dashboard. After that, they will know if you have trained, how many people exactly you have trained to have the badge, the MIE Trainer badge or the MIE Master Trainer badge. So we have, for example, I want to just read mine. I have here a top training topic I have trained while the quarantine, Office 365, Microsoft Team. Okay, Office 365, it's 1.5. That means 100, 1,400 people trained, educator trained from Tunisia and abroad. Okay, nice. So Microsoft Team, it's more 1.2. That means 1.2. That means 1,200. Yeah, a Flipgrade, it's more than 800. Others more than 600, and 21st century CLD, it's more than 600. So you can find all your topic trained, people trained in last 12 months. You can find it, and you find your performance, total people trained. I have here 4.23 kilo. That means
4,230. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and more, because when you give redeem code to enter, the majority they don't really
enter. Yes.
Or they don't. Many of educators, they don't have even the Microsoft Educator community to enter your code. That's the point. But it's not really important for me, because I love what I'm doing. I'm not really care about the badge. I'm really master teacher in my country. So it's online thing, it's encouraging, it's something beautiful. But the most beautiful that I encourage many educators, especially I want to mention the country, and they become a MIEExpert. I trained them, thousands of people from Bangladesh, from Palestine, from many country. Okay, so especially honestly from developing country, because they need this. Okay,
absolutely. And they're lucky to have you and the other master trainers to be able to do that, but especially you, because you're a fluent Arabic speaker and a fluent French speaker and can communicate well with them, and English, of course. And so do you have so much to offer besides just the skills of Microsoft itself?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, you mentioned at the beginning when you were giving your bio about being an SDG ambassador for cohorts 3, 4, and 5, I think. What is it that you do? How do you involve your students? I know you're a global educator from all that you've said. So what are the kinds of things so that people, the listeners, can know more about becoming or being an SDG ambassador, but more so what you do as an SDG ambassador?
Oh, this question, it's really touching me. You know why? Because I really, I love to incorporate that everyone do like me and incorporate and integrate the SDGs in his curricula.
Right.
I have, unfortunately, I can share my screen to show you the thousands of activities I done, and we have, especially with International School Award on e-twinning, on my partner all over the world. So we did many activities.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to just start from the beginning as SDGs. So really, the SDGs are so wide-reaching. They can be used to provide a new perspective and real-world context to lesson plan. For example, geography, science lesson can be enriched by discussing climate change subjects such as the cause and effect of the increase in average global temperature, or how climate change is creating nature disaster like tsunami and tropical cyclone, etc. Biology lesson could examine not only the cellular study of viruses and diseases, but also the social factor that allow them to thrive, such as and educate access to medication and education. So the SDGs are an ideal filter through which to expand and enrich your lesson plan, boost the classroom engagement by demonstrating the real-world impact of the subject your students are learning. I want to start to talk about maybe the most important project. So the most important project, it's coding to save the planet for the future generation. It's about this e-twinning project. It's called Hand by Hand to Save Our Land, and it's focused on building an active citizenship and on the role of a new alternative for a better future. But we have many project. That means PBL project. That means a project-based learning. I'm really interested about this because I want to explain why. So this, I want to just open some of my project. So here, so to solve a real problem, to meet a design challenge, to explore a question, to conduct an investigation, we should have one thing, okay? To give opportunity for investigation to our student, we should integrate SDGs in our classroom curricula. So here, the first, I want to talk about the latest project. It's called Dear Weather, and it's about, the Dear Weather, it's about take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. It was with Germany, with Italy, with Turkey. It was an e-twinning project, and it was a great project that students learn how really to be aware from the climate change problem. So, and this project, we are winner of the e-twinning European Prize for 2020.
Bravo.
So, yeah, for the Hand by Hand to Save Our Land. So e-twinning, there is the book of teaching climate change with e-twinning have done. So it's about a classroom in action. It's called Classroom in Action. They select the best practice on climate change project, collaborative work, and our project is selected in the book, and it's Hand by Hand to save our land. I integrate SDGs. I integrate 4 goals in the project, and it was collaborative work. That means the science teacher is involved, the fine art teacher, the English teacher, so the whole subject. So there is no we can incorporate the SDGs in every single subject. It was collaborative work it was I think more than 12 partners, and they are not ICT teacher. We have a biology teacher, we have English teacher, so it was great. And I have also, as you know, the platform, the famous platform about school education gateway. You know this?
No, I don't know about it. Tell me about it.
The School Education Gateway, it's Europe Online's platform for school education. It's great research to learn and to grow. It's like, I really recommend it, the School Education Gateway as a training platform, as Microsoft Education, as a Microsoft educator community. So as largest lesson, to learn SDGs. So here they selected our project. So it's called the new generation. So it's selected to be a good example for to feel well, learn better. That means they select project and intervention for a happier school life. So they select 4 projects, and our project it's between. I want to just. Of course, and just enter the page. I will read the paragraph. They are written, in the e-twinning project, Healthy Generation, and it's display. I'm really honored. I'm so honored. This is the picture of my student there. So it's really something great, something really touching for me. So the twinning project Healthy Generation students explore various aspects of food and nutrition so as to understand the relation to grow and health. To that end, they identify the human body and its component and digestion process, and then the food groups and their characteristic. So I can't finish. So it was a great project. So I want to move to, there is many, so I can't. So it was really a presentation. So you should see pictures and link to really understand the work.
Yes. You know what I can do? I can, if you send me the links to all this information that you've mentioned, I can add those links to the show notes for your podcast episode. And so when people click on your podcast episode, they can see the links and then take the links to the e-twinning, see your projects. If you have any links to strategies or the things that you've been talking about, including the Microsoft Master Educator and so forth, I can add all of that on the show notes and people will be able to go to that. I know we keep saying SDGs, but I didn't mention at the beginning that they mean the Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations. And there are 17 goals. And if you want to know more about that, the world's largest lesson and so forth, I'll put all of those links into the show notes so that people can go directly to those places if they're interested. So
I have already presentation about the example of SDGs, how to practice really within a curricula. That means how to teach our student about voluntary work, about reduce inequality, about no poverty, quality of education, gender equality, etc. in the classroom, in the curricula, and we can apply it and we can go outside for outings. We can work it on as a coding. They did a story with a scratch. They did, for example, drawing with their fine e-teacher. We have a collaborative work, so they understand the scientist's words with biology or with a mathematics teacher, etc. The English teacher helped me to correct the mistake, etc. Because, as you know, I teach my student with the French language. So when we collaborate with other educator, we use English, only English. All the projects are in English. So my students have an extra effort, to can write properly English with the help of the teacher of English. So that's really perfect. We have a connecting classroom. We have a perfect collaboratively work within that's kind of international project. That's the most important. So here I can mention too that we have a quality level for the 2 years. We have for 4 projects European quality label. It's very important for
Yes.
students. It's encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
So for fall project, it's about it's about hand by hand to save our land, about healthy generation, about which other about I forget the two. We have we have many projects, and
Sounds like it. Yes. Your students must love it because it integrates other subjects, and it's also so authentic and real world. And they're actually doing something to help the environment, or to help their community, or to help other communities. And it's making them global citizens, which is what we should be doing for all of our children, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm trying on the Microsoft Global Learning Connection 2020. It was, I think, on 10 and 11 February. No, it's not February. November. Yeah, It's called the Skype-a-thon. The old name, it's Skype-a-thon. So I'm trying via Skype Classroom. Unfortunately, I like so much the platform. It's closed.
Yes,
Okay.
they got rid of it, or they're going to get rid of it. There are a lot of teachers who are using it who are very disappointed. Yeah.
I'm really disappointed because I had on just 2 days I have more than 50 training. I have to join the collect many training together in Microsoft team. It was really great. It's about SDGs. It's about how to integrate SDGs in the curricula with games, with the Kahoot, with many with discussion of a student, with a Flipgrid, using Flipgrid, etc. It was from 4 countries all over the world, and I have really a good feedback from teacher and student from Arabic country, from Colombia, from all over the world. So I have a friend from all over the world. So develop it and developing country. The main important is the collaborative work. The main important it's to help each other to learn and grow for the benefits of our student.
Right. Yeah. And establishing that community is just so wonderful. Douha, this has been just a fantastic conversation. I've learned so much from you, and I'm sure our listeners will also. Where is the best place, or where are the best places to find you? If our listeners want to hop off the podcast and look for you, and of course I'll include all of that in the show notes too. So where should we look for you? I know you're on Twitter. Where else?
Yeah, the best place is on Twitter and in Facebook, both. But I use rarely Instagram and LinkedIn. But the best place is Twitter and Facebook. I use it daily. Okay.
Yes, and on Twitter you are. What's your handle? It's different. It's not your name.
It's not the name of my husband. Okay, so it's at Oshi Faisal. That means it's the name of my husband. As you know, in our Arabic word, when the girl's married, so she's really she's really used the name of her husband in her email, in everything. So yes.
That's so funny. Yeah. So it's at OCHIFAYSEL, correct?
Yeah.
So if they're looking for you on Twitter, they can find you there, or Douha Jemai on Facebook. Douha, again, thank you so much for being on my podcast today. I am really excited to share this conversation with the listeners.
Thank you so much, Ellen. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. I have many things to not, I can't, my words never spoken in English. I'm sorry. Okay. So, but I will send you the link with all the research that's help many educators to tie the 21st century skills and technique, and especially to integrate SDGs in their curricula.
Thank you. And you did a wonderful job. From a native English speaker, you did a wonderful job explaining yourself. And thank you so much. And I'm very excited because you are a multilingual and have been able to do very, very well today. So thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much.